All right. For some reason, it's not saying that we're live right now.
Says we're live on my end.
Same.
All right. We are live now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 44 of the Burg Boys podcast. My name is Mike Lennon. I'm with Chris Rosholt, Matt Lennon, and Jeremy Greenwood. Apologize for the little technical difficulties we had there for a second. But weekend recaps. We'll start with Mr. Matt in lacrosse. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good, guys. Can honestly say this weekend was just straight football. Yesterday we
Right
kind
in
of
your element.
Oh yeah. We usually go watch football at Sarah's aunt and uncle's Jay and Kelly's house. Unreal man cave set up in there. And usually we watch the championship Saturday together because it's usually the Badgers are playing in it. Obviously they were not this year. But yeah, watch football, watch the championship games. Nothing really surprising there. Besides maybe Bama, but we'll talk about that. Then today, yeah, just watched a little Netflix this morning. Kind of started that new that second season of Tiger King. I don't know if you guys watched the first one.
Yeah.
But we started the second one, and it's just.
Hey, did you finish Last Chance U?
No, I have not. I think I'm in the second season of that one, and that
Okay.
I've sent you guys a couple of snaps.
That's
that
pretty
one,
good.
it's just hilarious. And then yeah, that guy. What the heck? Yeah. Then I watched football, NFL Red Zone pretty much all day, and here we are.
Good stuff. Jeremy, how we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, Mike. Nice to see you guys. I've been helping the last couple weeks. Been helping learn to skate up at Raka, and it's been very nice, very good. We'll talk a little bit more about RWD a little later on, but I also recently started a new position, actually at the high school, as a social emotional learning interventionist. Yeah, it's been honestly, guys, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it being there. Really enjoyed. The kids have all been pretty great to work with, and the other teachers have been very supportive, and so just really nice. Also, last Tuesday we had our alumni. Last Saturday we had our alumni outing. So all alumni that came, that was really good. That was really great. Made some money for Alex Yako's family, who came and was there in attendance, and then Tuesday at RWD we had a memorial game for him, a moment of silence, and then actually before I forget, I got this to show everybody. I had it on my head.
There you go.
Wagner Tree Farms hat, Linden Station, Wisconsin. Just a great place to go and get a Christmas tree. That was my first time there. I know I rave about them on our podcast in the past, and it didn't disappoint at all. So,
what kind of tree did you get?
What do you mean? What kind of tree did I get?
There's different kinds of trees.
Like
did you get a Fraser fir?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you which one we got, but
Fraser fir. What other kind of trees are there?
There's like the long ones.
Yeah.
I don't remember what those ones are called.
I don't
And
know.
then
The
there's
balsam.
like,
I think balsam's one.
Yeah.
Fraser.
I just know Fraser fir. That's the way to go.
I think you're thinking of balsamic vinegar.
No, dude, I'm gonna look this up.
Hey, anyway, I got a Christmas tree. It's green. It's got needles on it.
How many ornaments?
I didn't do any of that. My mom and my sister did.
Okay.
I bought the tree, and it's just like, hey, put us up, put the lights up for me. I want it to look nice around here. And I got to be honest, I got to come true with you guys as well. I got called out on it a little bit. My brother Jesse Beefy and his girlfriend Emily did most of the Christmas tree lights outside of my house the last time we were on. So I can't really even take credit for that either.
But you did take credit last time.
I did, and that's why I'm. That's why I'm.
You're retracting.
Right now, yeah, that's what I'm saying right now. I apologize.
Okay. We respect it.
I did put a little bit up myself though, so it wasn't all of them. So anyway, all right, Raj.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming to you today from my cell phone because I'm in good old Reedsburg, Wisconsin. So our season unfortunately ended last weekend in the Final Four. And we lost to what is now the state champions for Colorado 5A football, Cherry Creek. They ended up winning it all yesterday. And so in order to get a little R&R, I decided to fly back and let little man hang out with his cousins and his grandma. And I got to do a little hunting, did some muzzleloader hunting. So I got to go to the farm and hunt out behind mom's house. And so it was a good little relaxing weekend. I fly back tomorrow. And then there for a couple weeks, and then we'll be driving back the day after Christmas. So then we'll be back again. But um, I never feel like I can relax when I'm at my house out in Colorado, because I always feel like there's things I got to do. Like laundry, dishes, landscaping. I always feel like I got to do something. And when I'm home, when I'm here in Reedsburg, I actually just get to relax. So I enjoy it. It's been a good weekend. But yeah, that's about all I've been doing, is just kind of hanging out with family. I got to partake in my brother Eric's wrestling career.
Yeah. How'd that go?
It was sweet. It's so much fun. Yeah, my brother does semi-professional wrestling, and so we went up to Appleton, and his persona is the local dude, where he literally looks like the Big Lebowski, and he drinks a White Russian and everything. And
Is that his name?
Local dude is his name. Yeah,
Did he can't do
Big Lebowski because of copyright and all that stuff. So, but it was funny because the crowd fell in love with him, because that was the first time that like this organization has seen him and like his persona, and so he was new to the crowd. Because I'm not even joking you. There's like groupies that go with these wrestling matches. And they'll wear their favorite wrestler's T-shirt, and I mean they're all about it. So it's actually a really fun environment with it all. And he did not win. He lost to the heavyweight champion. But it was a good match, and it was funny, and it was a blast. And some of the things they do it's pretty impressive. But just the whole environment and stuff, it's just
interesting.
We're gonna have to get Eric on, I think.
Yeah,
he would be well, that, but like, he's got he's done a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
In his life,
and it was at 43 years old, to see him up there flipping and jumping and getting slammed on the mat and stuff, it's pretty cool. So
nice. Well, pretty low-key weekend for myself. I shouldn't say low-key, but we had 2 games this past weekend, home against Eau Claire. And we were actually on the road last night at Stevens Point, which was obviously one of the better atmospheres, I would say, in Division III hockey. Having a difficult time putting together a third period right now for the old Jacks. So we had 2 more games before Christmas break. Both games are against Superior. But I did want to show you guys, actually, this was a good leeway into our next topic, but wanted to show you what I got right here.
I was gonna say, I got mine too. Yeah.
The old share owner, but
I do have some requests.
Anyways, rolling into our first topic here. So I have a friend here at Northland College I work with. He's the head soccer coach, men's soccer coach here at Northland College. It was his first ever. He went to the Rams game, and he has a list of questions here. He's a diehard Patriots fan. He's got a list of questions here.
Okay.
That he just wanted us to, and we don't have to take too much time with this, but yeah, he had a great experience though. He was actually rocking a Shane Falco jersey there, which is interesting. From what movie is that from? Can't even Replacements. Yeah. So his first, he wants a oral history of how shares came to be with the Packers. And I guess do you guys know this?
I know that since we don't have an owner, there's nobody to front the money type thing.
Renovations and stuff.
So instead of taxing the the city of Green Bay population. They hold these shareholders or share sales, whatever you want to call them, to get their money. And my understanding is it has to be used on improvements
to the stadium.
Yeah, you can't use it. You can't be like, hey, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go pay Aaron Rodgers extra money or whatever. So I think that's, and if someone else has anything else, I think that's kind of what it's established from. But yeah.
Okay. Well, you can actually still get your shares right now. So I know, he just obviously commented there. He's number one in the AFC. He's a Patriots fan. But second one, he wants to know what the pros and cons are of the weird owner structure, he calls it, that we have right now.
Well, I mean, I think the pro is that, man, fans get to be involved. You know, like it's abnormal for any professional sport to do what the Packers do, right? Obviously, a con would be, well, I guess the con would be more of, the money type of deal, right? I know owners reach in their back pocket at times and give them their own money. I don't know that it can work in like that. It can work like that in all sports. I don't know the specifics of all that, obviously, but you tell us. I mean, how cool is it to have that piece of paper, even if it's one share?
Oh, it's unreal.
Just to be a part, feel like you're a part of it, even more than you already were.
The funny thing about that is, you guys see it on Twitter too, probably. Other fan bases bash the Packers for doing this, or people buying it. But if their team did it, they would do the exact same thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's
guaranteed.
Like,
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
But I also say a con would be that it just doesn't seem, without an owner, you don't really have like that decision maker type guy. I mean, I know Ted Thompson kind of is that guy, but you don't have a guy that, I mean,
you mean
Mark Murphy, sorry. I know he has to, I think there's like a board of directors or whatever that he kind of has to run through too, but you don't have that set owner that's making those decisions for the team.
Yeah, it's hard to be mad at Mark Murphy,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that also could be a pro too, because think of your situation like the Raiders.
Yeah.
And you have that family that's owned that franchise for so long, and they haven't done nothing but bad things for the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, moving to Las Vegas is a big deal, and that stadium is unreal. So like, it's not all negative, but at least their product on the field has been nothing but a disaster the last 15 to 20 years. And it's not going to change because ownership will never change, so that could be a pro and a con, because then you could have like the Cowboys, where they've had the Jones family running it forever, and they've been successful for a long period of time too. So, and who's is it Kraft? Is that who is Greg's boy there for the Patriots? And obviously he's doing really well too. So it's kind of hit or miss having a true owner on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in some hot water lately?
Oh yeah. He was somewhat prostitutes.
But look at the watching a football team. Their ownership.
Yep, exactly.
Same type of thing. But all right, last thing. So he was a fan of the Brats at Lambeau Field. I've only been to one game there, or sorry, 2 games there, I think. But I want to touch on his next kind of 2 questions here with this. He said, "Is it really cool that there's no seats and it's freezing cold aluminum bleachers? Will there ever be a modern Lambeau Field, or will 80% of it always seem like it's stuck in 1930? I think to this, that is why Lambeau is so unique.
Well, I'm assuming this Mr. Gilmore is a Boston Red Sox fan. So why would you change Fenway?
Exactly.
Why would you care? Why you're not there for the seats?
Yeah. And I mean, I could speak when I was at the Pittsburgh Steelers game over Christmas a couple of years ago. We didn't sit a whole lot. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter what our seats were, because we were standing pretty much the whole time anyways, because 1, everyone gets into the game. 2, that's the easiest way to stay warm is standing up and kind of moving around. But
I've only been to a handful of football games, and I don't remember sitting at any of them.
Yeah. And I think
I'm pretty sure we got yelled at, Mike, when we went to the Vikings game, didn't we?
We did.
I think if you take if you take that away, I think they're going to keep aluminum bleachers at least for a while, because I think that adds sort of the tradition of what is Lambeau Field.
I like
You
that.
know, if you add the chair, like, I mean, think of what Camp Randall's doing with that end zone now.
Yeah.
That big renovation. They're taking away, in my opinion, they're taking away some of the history of Camp Randall and how it's set up. But all they're doing is changing bleachers and changing concourses and things like that. And I think as it gets modernized, I feel like the feel of Lambeau will start to slowly kind of work its way out.
Well, and I know for sure. I don't think the exact details have came out, but I know like why they're doing this share. It's for field improvements. And
one of them was like the scoreboard, I think. And then I don't remember. There was one other one. Yeah, you're right.
So, well, staying on kind of the Packers topics, I said I watched football all day as well, or for the majority of games, and you're just like you're looking at, they had the Cardinals on earlier. San Francisco was on. And I'm curious to see what you guys honestly think about this, but like, what's one thing that you guys think that's really holding the Packers back to winning the whole freaking thing here?
I think it's injuries. I think that is really the only thing that's going to derail us. I mean, we've had injuries so far this year, but we're still sitting at 9-3. And then we kind of talked about in our group text how it sounds like Zadarius is going to be coming back. Haven't heard much on Jair. I don't know about, is Myers out for the year?
No, not for the year. I don't.
Not for the year. So I mean, our offensive line has played pretty well, but yeah, I think it's injuries. We'll see. I don't know. Playoffs are a different beast, especially in the NFC this year. There's, that's very top heavy in the NFC. AFC, I think, is a little more balanced wise. But yeah, I think it's injuries for me personally.
Ross, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm with injuries too. I think, and specifically in two positions, and that's defense and offensive line.
Yeah.
Defensively, we have the players there. It's just a matter of getting them all on the field at the same time. I mean, we showed flashes of how good the defense can be in that 3-game stretch where we hold those 3 stud quarterbacks to like 33 points total. So like we have that stretch. But then we have like the game against the Vikings where it's like, okay, that ain't a team that can win the Super Bowl. But you look at who we didn't have and you think, okay, when all those dudes get back, we should be able to slow teams down because we can't get into shootouts and playoffs. No. You got to have a solid defense and you got to have an offensive line. Like, our offensive line has played well, but our offensive line is completely different when Bakhtiari and Myers are in the game, and then everyone else is playing their normal positions and we're just going to be that much stronger, and obviously losing Jenkins hurts, but if we could stay healthy or get healthy on the offensive line and defensively, I think that's the only thing that's going to hold us from, winning it all, really. Because, I mean, this year more than any year, in my opinion, it's becoming to be more of a wide open race. Like each week, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple teams that we were like, oh, yeah, they're going to – and now what have those two teams done, Like until today, the Rams have looked like crap. I mean, they lost 3 straight games, and I personally thought that they were one of the top dogs.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be wide open, honestly, in the NFL this year, and I think just health on defense and health on the offensive line is going to be the difference for us.
I got a feeling it's going to be another rematch as it was last year.
I think so too. Yeah.
For whatever reason, like I just don't see Dallas, and I don't know what they're doing playing Zeke Elliott so much. The Cowboys are like Pollard is by far the way better running back, but then you have the Rams. Like I guess they're kind of a mystery.
Cardinals,
San Francisco Cardinals. I'm not exactly sold on yet. I guess I know they're obviously pretty banged up too, or have been for the past couple of weeks, but I guess my point before we get to what Jeremy wants to say, I like obviously playoff time. It's tight games. You're in tight games, and more times than not, you're going to need that field goal to
well,
win.
There you go. There's mine.
But it's not even just the field goal aspect of it. It's our punt returns, our kick returns, our defense. It's our defensive or our punting. Our punting's been okay, I guess, or has been.
Yeah, he's the man.
Oh yeah.
But man, we haven't gotten burned on it yet, but man, if we don't get that figured out in the next 5 to 6 weeks here, it's
Well, and that was an issue last year too.
it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, we've had an issue with our return game and special teams truly since what's his face played for the Packers.
Not Desmond Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when's the last time we've had a returner that you've remembered his name?
Who
you know, and
oh,
when's
man,
the last
what game was it? This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. Do you remember it was the Rams? No, it's probably 4 years ago, the Rams game. And wasn't it Ty Montgomery that took that kick out
and fumbled it
to lose and we ended up losing, but
But then, you know, like I thought of another thing today, actually. So it's funny we're talking about special teams. I was watching the Seattle game, and did you see what they did?
No.
They ran a fake punt to their backup running back. They direct snapped it to the personal protector, who was the backup running back, 75-yard touchdown run. So then it got me thinking, when is the last time the Packers have faked a field goal or a punt?
Probably with Tom Crabtree when that had to have been like 9 years ago, I think.
Like that's another thing is I feel like we gotta get out of our comfort zone a little bit and take some chances here and there. Try to steal a possession where normally we would have punted, we fake it, we get the first down. You know, you steal that possession away. I feel like we got to do that a little bit more because some of these. The one thing I will give LaFleur credit for though is I don't think we've ever gone for it on fourth down as much as we do with him.
Yeah, agreed.
So I will say that I appreciate that, but. Special teams, I think you hit it, Mike and Jay Green. I think I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking injuries. But that could be the difference in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We got who do we got next week? The Bears. Sunday Night Football. So, we'll see what happens. But moving on. Next topic: college football playoff. We have our Final Four set. Is it next year they're moving to 8, correct, Matt?
No, they're still in talks. Nothing's finalized. Right now they're getting hung up on if they want to do 8 or 12. That's kind of what's hanging them up.
Well, hopefully that gets changed. But anyways, number one, Alabama will be going up against Cincinnati, and the Michigan Wolverines will be going up against the Georgia Bulldogs. I'll start with Jay Green here. Who do you think's who's gonna win the 3 games here?
Well, I think obviously it's your classic who you want to and who you think's going to. 2 different ones, right? I'd like to see Michigan win it. I'd like to see Cincinnati win it. Honestly, I'd like to see Georgia win it.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you who I don't want to win it, but if I had to guess, I would say that it's ripe for Alabama to take. But I would say, they wasn't that convincing of a win over Georgia. So that's where I am at.
How, real quick, and this, before I want you guys to answer this too, but do you think they didn't move Michigan to like the 1 seed because they didn't want an SEC matchup, I don't think how's that fair? Like, that's not fair either. Like, I know they're obviously trying to go for like ratings and stuff, but like, I understand. Obviously Alabama I could see what the case for them, but I could also see the case for, Cincinnati moving up to the 3 and then Georgia moving down to the 4. But
yeah,
Raj, I want your take on that. And then who do you think's going to win?
Yeah, I think in terms of the final seedings, I think strength of schedule and then the who are your losses are the biggest factors in that. So, like Alabama and Michigan could both be the 1. Well, who did they play the last game of the year? Well, Alabama beat the 1 team in the nation. Michigan beat Iowa, so it's like, do they really deserve the 1 when, Alabama just beat the number 1 team? And so I think that has something to do with it. the SEC always gets the benefit of the doubt. The rich get richer, as they say, and I think that's part of it. Is that the SEC is going to get more love. I agree with the standings, minus the fact that I just think logistically, Cincinnati should have leapfrogged Georgia. Because you have an undefeated team versus a team that just lost, even if it was against a really good Alabama. But I think they did that, like you said, Mike, to try to avoid Georgia and Alabama playing each other again right after they just got done playing each other. So I think that might have had something to do with it too. I honestly believe that Georgia is going to win it all. I don't think Georgia put all their eggs in the basket against Alabama, knowing that they had a top 4 spot locked already. So I don't think they showed Alabama everything that they got. And that's just my opinion. That's just my guess.
Because Alabama needed to win.
Yeah.
Yep. And Georgia did not.
They didn't
Georgia,
win, exactly.
Yeah, Georgia knew win or lose that they were going to be in the top 4. So that's just my thought, because I've been watching Georgia all year, and they haven't had the toughest of schedules. They played they've beaten like 4 ranked teams, but their schedule hasn't been the hardest. But I've been watching them all year, and their defense is absolutely phenomenal. And they did not play like they normally play. So I think if they figure it out defensively, I think they're gonna beat Michigan 1, and then I think they're gonna hand it to Alabama, because I think Alabama's gonna rout Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Even though I'm with Jay Green, who I want to win and who I think is going to win, I think are two different things. Because I actually, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm ever saying this, because besides PJ Fleck, I think Harbaugh is probably my most hated coach.
Yeah, and why is that? Why do people hate that guy so much? Dislike him?
Well, he's just arrogant this year, and I'll give him credit. The last couple of years, he's toned it down big time. But he used to be like all about him. He was that one that every time he was yelling at the refs, and when he yells, it looks like he's whining and crying. And he's just one of those guys that just kind of annoys you, even though you don't really know why. But I want Michigan to win if I had to pick a team. But I think Georgia's going to take it. I think it's going to be Georgia, Alabama in the finals.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I could see that Georgia-Michigan game being probably one of the better games of the 3, I guess. I think right now Georgia's favored by almost a touchdown. I think Bama's favored by like 2. I think that one's going to just be a blowout. Obviously, I'm kind of with you guys. I hope it's Cincy and Michigan. I think it's for sure going to be Bama and probably Georgia. And then kind of about the seeding thing, I think you knew it was either going to be Michigan 1, Cincy 3, and then Bama 2, Georgia 4, or it was going to be how it's going to set up, because they, you guys talked about it. They were going to avoid Alabama versus Georgia again in a semifinal, because I think they know that if it's Bama Georgia for a national championship, that's going to boost the ratings up.
Yeah, big time.
Well, if you are a gambling person, you're going to want to listen to this. Michigan will win. Alabama will win. Michigan will beat Alabama in the final.
Why?
Ooh,
Why?
big dog.
It's just
big
happening.
Dog.
Big Ten. Got to
That would
cheer
be
for
cool.
the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But sticking on, we don't typically talk this much about college football, but
Yeah.
I got a question for Rosh. When will you be getting your D1 job so then you can pay me some money?
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, we were talking about that, and it's a work in progress. We'll just say that. But seeing these D1 coaches and what they're
Jesus.
getting, it's bonkers. And then
Private jet, 3 homes.
Yeah, and they bought his homes in Oklahoma for $500,000 over asking, so that was more money in his pocket. Then the private jet and the $6 million home and all this, and then fake accent boy, he's getting paid $95 million to be at LSU. Please tell me you guys have been hearing and seeing that stuff on Twitter. So
He's getting
funny.
roasted.
So
he's literally from Massachusetts. He's from Massachusetts, and he's born and raised in Massachusetts. And you hear him do his talks and stuff at Notre Dame, 0 accent, nothing. And all of a sudden, he's on the basketball court talking, and he's y'all, and he's got the twang in his voice. and he is just getting blasted on Twitter, and it is hilarious.
Notre Dame is kind of digging a little bit too, because they obviously hired their D coordinator.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really cool video too when they came out and he's just like
Yep.
dabbing it up with the guys and they like going
Yep.
really cool. And
Well, and
obviously they're not doing like they were probably never doing that with
Kelly never had that type of response from his players, so you could tell that Freeman is definitely a player favorite, and I think it's also sweet that the offensive coordinator's staying too.
Yeah.
You know, usually when a head coach leaves, he takes his staff with him. But with that Kelly thing, just because I'm a strength and conditioning coach myself, even if it's at the high school level, but I follow a bunch of strength and conditioning coaches on Twitter as well as football coaches. Kelly fired the LSU strength and conditioning coach, who's been there for 20 years and has like, I don't even know how many. I think he for sure has 3 national titles in football, but I think it's more in other sports too. But he's basically like, I mean, he's one of the godfathers of like strength and conditioning programs at the D1 college football level. And that's one of the first things Kelly does when he comes is get rid of him. So between that and the fake accent, I don't think he's off to a hot start in my opinion.
Well, he was on I was listening to the Dan Patrick show. I think that was on Wednesday, if I remember right. And Brian Kelly was on there, and he literally said that the day he got hired for LSU, he was actually in California recruiting for Notre Dame, walked to the tarmac to get on his private jet to fly back to Notre Dame. His attorney was there with LSU gear and the contract to sign. And so he literally put on the LSU gear, got on the plane, flew to LSU. And so, like, it's just, you can never, like,
the guy's a schmuck.
If a coach complains, I don't know where I'm going with this, but if a coach complains about a player sitting out, like, head coaches are greasy for the most part. And so
I wouldn't say for the most part.
I don't know.
They bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
That's one thing that,
like, how do you go into a parent's room and say, yeah,
exactly.
I'm going to be your kid's coach. I'm going to mentor him for 4 years.
But that's part of the job, though.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm with Matt here where, like, I personally, as a person, just like how I'm created, I could not tell a kid that and then peace out after a year.
True.
The day.
I just personally couldn't do that.
A couple hours
like,
later.
Yeah.
Or even a couple hours later. Come to Notre Dame, I'll take care of him. I'll personally be looking out for him, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 hours later, you're gone. Like, and I get that if somebody offers you 95 million, someone offers you 95 million. Like, I get where he's coming from too, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he wasn't getting paid nothing at Notre Dame. you know, he was financially very secure, I'm sure. So I don't know. I just think I'm not a big fan of false promises, especially to 17-year-olds. So I'm not a fan of the constant carousel, but it's like Mike said, it is part of the deal though. So,
well, staying on college football, the Wisconsin Badgers are set to take on Arizona State in the Las Vegas Bowl, fellas. Give it up for the Las Vegas Bowl.
I was really hoping for the Deuce Mayo again.
That would be on January or
December 30th.
December 30th. Sorry, late one as well. I think it's like a 8:30 or 9:30 start time. But
hey, don't forget about the other college football team too.
Who?
Whitewater.
We'll get on that. Hold on. I just want to. Do you guys remember real quick? Do you guys remember the last time? So this was. I just looked this up. It was September 14th, 2013. Do you guys remember the last time we played Arizona State? What happened?
That was the famous.
They said he didn't kneel.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that at all, Chris? Jeremy?
No, I'm drawing a blank.
We'll put that on our Facebook and we'll tweet it out. We'll show everybody if they don't.
That ended. Was that our only loss that year? Or?
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I remember it was like
we only had 1 or 2 losses that year, but we'll send you guys that video. But real quick, shout out Wisconsin Whitewater. They took care of business. They're in the Final Four. So it's Mount Mary. Was it North Central Illinois, Chris, and Whitewater, and who else?
It's North Central Illinois versus Mount Union, and then Whitewater plays Mary Hardin Baylor, and that game is at 2:30 at Whitewater, and then Mountain Union's hosting on the other side. So the winners are in the national championship, and I believe it's the top 4 seeds. I think the top 4 overall seeds are in the Final Four, and they have been for the last like 6 years. I don't think they've been. It's been those 4 in a rotating fashion.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
so in a sense, it's almost a little bit like D1, kind of.
Yeah, you'll get the nice thing with D3 though is like you'll get these random teams that like come out of nowhere and are pretty successful, and they'll be good. Like Mary Hardin Baylor was one of them, but now they're a powerhouse. But yeah, it's similar. It's similar. I think for a stretch there was Whitewater. I think for what was it, 15 years straight, either Mountain Union or Whitewater won the national title or something like that. Yeah, so it's getting to be that way. But
I was laughing at Grant's comment, not you.
What did he say?
He said he's going to be lucky to stay up for Mertz's first 2 interceptions. I hear you, man.
Matt, do you have a Wisconsin sports update ready or no?
Yeah, I'll rip through it quick. We already touched about the football team. Badger basketball ranked 23rd. I think the rankings come out on Mondays, if I remember right. Yeah. They beat Georgia Tech 70-66 on Wednesday night. That was a big game for Brad Davidson. I think he had 27 points. He was on fire. They beat Marquette yesterday. That was a big one, 89-76. Johnny Davis is the real deal. Obviously, you guys know that.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be staying through his senior year, but
no, he won't be.
So take it while you can watching him. Upcoming, they play Wednesday versus Indiana, who is 7-1 at 6. And then Saturday they play at Ohio State at 11. Big Ten plays like 2 Big Ten games in December. I think it was last year they started doing that. Men's hockey, they lost 4 rip versus the U.S. National Development Team. Then they play Friday and Saturday versus Penn State. It's just a rough squad.
Hey,
I can honestly say.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Tony Granado. He's getting inducted in the U.S. Hall.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I can honestly say I think I've watched maybe 2 periods of them all this year.
Hey, real quick on them. Think of how much they lost. Okay, the season's it's not over yet. Okay, we'll just put it that way.
All right. Women's hockey, number 1. They actually had a rough weekend this weekend. They lost 3-2 Friday night to Minnesota, and then they tied 2-2 Saturday versus Minnesota, who I think is ranked like 3rd. Upcoming, they play Friday, Saturday at Bemidji State. Women's volleyball ranked 4th. They're a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. They beat Colgate Friday night, 3 rip in sets. And then Saturday, they beat Florida Gulf Coast 3 rip. So they're headed to the Sweet 16. Thursday, they play UCLA at 4. I think that's on ESPNU. And then if they win, they'll be in the Elite 8 versus the winner of Baylor and Minnesota Saturday at 7, who I believe are the 2 and 3 seed in their side of the division. But
do you know how good UCLA is off the top of your head? Or no?
UCLA is ranked 14th, so that'll be a tough one.
Okay.
But I know the last couple of years UW has just been knocking at the door. Obviously, they won it some years back. I don't know. They got a 1 seed. We'll see what happens. You know, you can UCLA will be tough, and then Saturday Baylor or Minnesota will be tough. So I think it's at Madison, so that will help.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the kind of the Reedsburg High School sports update, I want to talk to you guys real quick about this. And I've been very critical of the MLB. I honestly don't even really, and I hope you guys can kind of, one of you guys, maybe Jeremy or Matt or Rosh, but can explain to me just what's going on with this lockout with the MLB, because I've been critical of them in the past, big time. Just how they market their players. This can't be helping at all.
No.
So what's going on with the MLB right now? Because I don't even understand it, I guess.
I totally don't understand it, but in essence, it's billionaires fighting millionaires over stupid stuff. I know, like, one of the things, Manfred, who I think is got to be top 2 worst commissioners in professional sports. They actually came out and they found out that the MLB was using 2 different types of baseballs. I don't know if you guys saw that report.
Yep, I did.
A little sketchy.
What?
Yeah, they used 2 different styles of baseball
Yeah.
during the season last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think they told anybody. They
No,
just
they didn't
switched
tell
them
anybody.
out.
Yeah. So that's pretty sketchy. I think Manfred, he's just I don't know. Something's got to change with him. But yeah,
Bring back Bud Selig.
Yeah, one of his propositions is to have 8 teams make it in the playoffs, and then starting at 1 down, you pick your opponent. Which, like, I don't know. He's trying to change the game, in I think the worst ways. I think last year actually MLB ratings for the playoffs was up quite a bit. And like you said, now this lockout, I mean, they're just shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. The only thing I know is that there's a bargaining agreement that is made between the players union or the players association, who has representatives that represent all the players, and then the owners. And the previous one ran out this last year, 2021, and they do not have a new one established. And so that's why there's this lockout now, is until this new one gets established and they all agree upon playoffs. And I think one of the big ones is bringing a DH to the NL.
Yep.
And there's a whole bunch of things. And until both sides agree on all those rule changes, schedule changes, money, just all that stuff, until they get a new bargaining agreement, it's going to be a lockout until they do. So I think they're going to get something done.
You'd think, yeah.
From what I've briefly read, I haven't gotten into it deep, but from what I briefly read, the major areas of concern are not, to me, they don't seem very major. So I think they're not far apart, I guess I should say. So
yeah. I would agree. And the number of issues that I've heard are the DH thing. I guess one of the big things that were kind of overlooked is they canceled the All-Star game in Atlanta, and they put it in Colorado. Well, when they put it in Colorado, they didn't reimburse Atlanta for all the money that they had spent on the All-Star game. Oof. So Atlanta was kind of like, well, what? And so there's that. But obviously Atlanta's going to get an All-Star game down the road, which doesn't help them now, and that's the issue. Players want different playoffs. So they want, right now, you got you got 4 teams and then 2 wildcard teams or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
what do the players want?
The players want a little bit more. They want more teams. They want 2 from each division plus wildcards.
Oh.
So it could be a little bit extended. And then there's an issue with the younger players. They come in for you get like 6 years of arbitration. And basically,
I did see this one. Yep.
Arbitration means if you go to arbitration, you're going in front of a neutral commissioner or a court officer who decides, yeah, you think I'm backing up that I should be getting paid more based on players who have similar stats and are getting paid more. And then the ball club says, no, we think you're valued this way because of the way we see it, etc. But then also, I think the biggest point of all this, and the one that they're farthest apart on, is there's you obviously have your Yankees, your Dodgers, your Red Sox, your Cubs, the big money teams, and so they can throw 10 years at Garrett Cole, who is one of the best pitchers in baseball, with 130 million, whatever, 200 million, whatever it was. The Brewers are never going to be able to do that.
No.
The Double Rays are never going to be able to do that. The Rockies are never going to be able to do that, and
ever.
et cetera, ever. And that's a problem because that's an unequal playing field.
Yeah.
So that's another, which I think is good. I'd like them to figure it out to make it a more even playing field, So, but yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is one of the heads needs to have a head in there to get things going, kind of like Raj said.
Yeah, everything that I read is it sounds like that it should be done before the season, but it sounds like it obviously will probably affect spring training, which whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say one cool thing. I don't know if it's technically the MLB or if it's the minor league. They finally, I think it was towards the end of the season, which I can't believe it's taken this long. They're giving housing to every minor league player.
Oh yes, I did see that, Matt. Yeah,
which is
cool.
Yeah,
which is cool.
which I can't believe it's taken this long. But
well, yeah, talking to the fellow Reedsburgian, Travis Van Zyl, if you talk to him about his minor league experience, it's like, it's crazy. Like those poor kids, they're the ones that aren't like in the top, 15 rounds where they might have signed for $1 million. They're getting paid absolutely nothing, and then they got to try to figure out how to live on their own, and money and transportation and housing, and, and some of them are still paying student loans or whatever too. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So that's awesome that they did that.
I saw this on Twitter the other day, but it's kind of funny. So if you go to MLB.com, they actually took down the headshots.
Oh,
so a lot of the guys were like making their new like profile pics. It's just like a blank. It's just like a blank face or whatever, and has their name on it. I don't know. It's kind of funny. You guys will have to check that out. But I don't know. Hopefully this lockout is for the best for baseball, because I don't know. I'm drifting further apart, which you guys know. But just that sport. I don't know. But all right. Well, we're happy to report a big game was won by the Reedsburg girls basketball team. 57-43 over Beaver Dam. So it was all over social media. So a huge shout out to them.
Yeah.
I believe it was their first time ever. I don't know, first time ever, but I know first conference time. No, was this their first Badger conference loss?
Yeah,
because
they had an 85 game conference winning streak. Beaver Dam has.
Yeah,
and they snapped that.
It's so cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, they're number one in the state, and I believe Beaver Dam was 5, if I remember reading the rankings.
5 or 4, somewhere right around there. Yeah, because I saw Pewaukee and Notre Dame, I think, are right behind us.
Yep.
And then Beaver Dam was undefeated at like 5-0 or something until they played us.
Well,
so
we're hopefully we're gonna try. It was a pleasure having Coach Simon on before. So hopefully we'll have to get him on.
Yeah.
Maybe before their playoffs start.
And before Jay Green gets into RWD, I did see, and I think Mike, you posted it on our Facebook, or maybe just a picture of it, but Reedsburg's wrestling team did win the Reedsburg. I think it was called the Reedsburg Duels or something, maybe. But there was like Wisconsin Dells, Westby, Lacrosse, Logan, maybe. There's like 5 or 6 teams there that they beat in order to win it. So that was pretty sweet to see them win it too.
Yeah, I was actually there. I went there for a little bit just to support some of the students, and pretty exciting. They beat Lacrosse Logan in the last match. That
was a tight score. That one was
Logan's
pretty sweet.
Usually pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah,
I believe in wrestling. Yeah,
they look good. I mean, it was
Big Mike used to be an assistant for a few years.
Big Mike was a really good wrestler himself.
Oh, he was, but I think I mean,
could Big Mike take Little Mike?
Could he take him?
Like you? Could Big Mike take you in wrestling?
Right now.
Mike, you know how to answer this. Like, it's
Matt,
you know how to answer.
I'm gonna
I don't
say
know, Matt. Because
me versus Matt.
No, you versus your dad. Because I bet Big Mike can grapple still.
He's got some moves probably that would put us in pretzels.
Yes.
Mike, he'd mess you up.
Yeah, he's still in shape. Big
time.
Yeah. I think he could. I just think with his background, I think he would just get you into a position that you wouldn't know what to do.
I'm never messing with the guy. Never.
But if I would take Matt, I'd be able to take him. 100%.
Take me?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Burg Boys contest.
Get it on video. we could do that at the draft this year when we get together.
Yeah, no, but for real, it was just really cool seeing them all compete like that. I'll be going to another one for sure. But to give a little shout out, boys basketball head coach Tanner Sheeby got his first win as a Badger basketball coach over Watertown.
Yeah.
He's kind of a close coworker of mine, and so it's pretty cool.
And I'm already saying it. He's coming on soon. We're just we're gonna get him on. It's just a matter of getting our schedules aligned.
Where's he from? Does anyone know?
I don't want to speak for him. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that. But it was a smaller school. He was very successful first year there too. But he does also have some YouTube stuff out there, which hopefully he'll share with us as well. But RWD, we earlier this week beat Alaska in overtime. That was a pretty fun win. Hadn't beat them in a long time, and so always fun to beat.
Who are they co-opted with?
Still the lacrosse schools. Besides everybody but Aquinas.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was nice. Always nice to beat somebody from your old sectional type deal. And then we lost to Edgewood Friday night. That was tough. You know, they got potentially a state team there too. So really good team. We play Burbu Tuesday. That's a really big game, obviously. Youth night, handing out towels, that type of deal. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting. And then we go to Monroe, the trek to Monroe Tuesday. But yeah, I don't know. What about Mike? What time or when are your games this week?
We're on the road at Superior on Friday, and then we are home on Saturday.
Back to back. Okay.
Yeah. We play Superior both nights. So then we have a long break. We have like a two and a half week break, which I'll probably be doing some recruiting and stuff like that, which will be good. So, but anything else, gentlemen? This was a good podcast this week.
Yeah, not really. Look for a contest coming up here, probably for the Packer game or something. We got some knucklehead tickets.
If you haven't yet, I just saw a post. I think it was last night. Wagner Tree Farms is running out of trees. I just saw.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, because I was going to mention that too. So hopefully it's because of our listeners going there to buy their trees. But my ma did mention that they're not necessarily running out of trees, but in order to be able to have trees next year and the next year and the next year, they have to cut it off, because otherwise, if they sell too many, then they'll have a couple down years. So in order to make sure they have their normal surplus for next year, they're already almost hitting their limit, which I don't know if they've done that before this early. So shout out to any of our listeners that went out and supported them.
I got another shout out to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
they getting a win.
Yes.
So hopefully, if we got any Lions fans, good job.
I know we have Vikings fans.
Yeah, Vikings fans. Yikes!
What an ending, Matt. What an ending.
They're 0-2 since they beat the Packers.
Yes.
I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if the Vikings lose Thursday night and we beat Chicago, we win the division.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know if we've ever won it this early.
Let's
go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this week. As always, give us a like. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're actually on TikTok now, so we have a TikTok account.
Didn't know that.
So we're on TikTok.
Jesus.
We're Burg Boys are everywhere. So give us a follow on all of the social media outlets. Big thanks to everybody watching in on the Reedsburg Channel 11 tonight as well. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Nice.
Have a good one,
you guys. See ya.
See you guys.